What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to be taking a look at a Potion Master ballin' game, which is always a lot of fun. Potion Master is really interesting because you're always faced with a ton of more decisions in the early game. And watching this game back, I'm not even sure I agree with all of the decisions that I make. I wind up picking up the black cat in this opening shop and not locking. And I could certainly see locking on the forbidden fruit, but there is also like shrink ray that you could potentially take, which would let you get some additional econ that way. So the forbidden fruit isn't that important. You can also get eeny meeny. Then of course you can also get targeted spells, which would allow you to pump up some of your units. So we're going to get one of those targeted spells here. We're going to get a magic research. So the question is, what do we cast this magic research on? We could cast it on the bad Billy and give ourselves like the most stats. But we could also cast it on the kitty cut purse, and that winds up being too tempting for me to pass up. So I really do consider the bad Billy, but we are going to go with the kitty cut purse and giving that +2/+2 rather, and we'll get to keep that bonus if we win the combat. But even if we lose the combat, if we get the slay, then it has already paid for itself. So we don't get the slay to start off here, but then we are going to take out this, or the black cat's going to take itself out, and we'll take out the baby root. And that is enough to get a slay just barely on the second attack, which gives us the potential to cast some more spells here. We could go with Forbidden Fruit and then buy 3 units, or we can just eeny meeny and grab a free unit that way. Definitely am going to want to pick up this Minotaur, and then from here, I guess, probably just pick up like the 3 Blind Mouse just to pick up a 2/2. And I guess I could take the Happy Little Tree. Yeah, I like the Happy Little Tree with Potion Master because there is a definite easier way to get it to grow some attacks, and I also like having a good unit, having a tree. Both of those things just means that like now whatever targeted spells we roll, we'll be able to cast it onto something that we have here. We are going to be getting the Slay from Kitty Cutpurse, but it looks like we are going to be taking some damage as my opponent has a pretty nice lineup here with the Double Crafty and the Fanny. So we take 4, but we've got 6 gold now on 3.0, so we can definitely make that work pretty nicely. I do kind of like the Labyrinth Minotaur. Maybe we sell the Golden Chicken for the Labyrinth Minotaur, and then pick up the Mummy and the Wicked Witch of the West. That is going to wind up being quite strong, and we can still continue to get some nice slays on Kitty Cutpurse. Maybe the Mummy already has enough attack with the double Minotaurs, so I'm just going to make sure that the Kitty gets to attack in, and the Mummy I will just be leaving as a 4/1. But could certainly see some other configurations on this board looking good, but if we are able to get some slays, like econ in the early game is super important. That's why we just saw the game with Kitty Cutpurse and Gwen go so well recently, because any econ that you can manage to get in these earlier turns can put you a lot ahead of the lobby. So it is definitely worth going for, though unfortunately we are not going to be lucky enough to get anything here. We are going to be lucky enough to win this combat though and hit Wonder Waddle for 6 damage. Then we get to pick up a few more pairs of tier 6 units. Again, no additional econ this turn, but we could pick up double Ogre Princess, or we could just pick up the pairs of the 2 units that we already have. I think that is going to be the way to go. But definitely, like, the Ogre Princesses are up for consideration. You could even lock them here. You could even just hang on to the Candy Rain. One thing that I am going to do, this is kind of a cute play. Maybe I should have done it first. I'm going to go for Mix-a-Whizzle onto the Minotaur. The reason I should have done this first is because if that turned into Ogre Princess, then we definitely should have picked up the 2 Ogre Princesses there. But it doesn't. It turns into Good Witch, which also kind of works with Ogre Princess. but I think that we are going to have enough other stuff on the battlefield to roll for. Now I'll roll for Wicked Witches, I'll roll for Mummies, and then I'll also potentially be picking up like Queen of Hearts or something like that, and hoping to get an early crystal ball. And one of the reasons you guys have heard me talk about this in my pants videos as well, one of the reasons that I always like to go evil is because if we don't get the crystal ball, we could also get Ancient Sarcophagus, which is also really good if you are stacking up with a bunch of evil units. There's the third Ogre Princess. I'm going to go for Mix-a-Wizzle again, potentially try to grab a tier 3 unit, but we are not so lucky, and I think I'm just going to roll. I think I'm also going to roll past this Princess Peep, but I am going to cast this Potion of Heroism because it pays for itself if it helps the Kitty Cutpurse slay. I do think additional stats on the Mummy is also good, but I do have to consider that this is the last turn on 3.0, and if we hit a tier 3 unit right now, then we could potentially, like, this is going to be the easiest time to find tier 3 units. I'm going to wind up casting a Shard onto the Minotaur turned Peep, and we get a Queen of Hearts there. So that is pretty good as well. Then I'm going to roll and could take a True Love's Kiss, but I don't really have anything good to kiss. Don't have like any tier 4 units, so I will just wind up rolling again. And unfortunately, we don't find any Mummies or Wicked Witches, but I'll spend the next turn still rolling for these 3 different tier 3 units that we have, and we're pretty likely to hit them, and even if we don't get the crystal ball, there are still a lot of sweet things that we can get. So Kitty Cutpurse is going to get in and slay and survive, so that is really good for us. And then Black Cat is also going to be able to survive, so we definitely win this combat against the Horde Dragon here. We are going to be able to hit them for 7 damage, but most importantly, we also slayed, so we will have an extra gold coming out of this one. Don't think I want the Black Cat or the Minotaurs. We are looking for tier 3 treasures. That is the name of the game. And here is a Wretched Mummy. And from this Wretched Mummy, we are going to get the crystal ball. So that is really cool. There is a lot now that we can do with this crystal ball, because now whenever we cast a spell, we get a new spell from the shop. And I'm eyeing up this Greedy. And I talked about a little bit of this game is about creating interesting econ opportunities. And we, like, our Kitty Cutpurse is already big enough. Our Mummy is already big enough. I think the Kitty Cutpurse is interesting, and I could see casting the Potion of Heroism on the Kitty Cutpurse. Oh, and I am actually going to go for it. Okay, it's a little bit surprising, but I think, like, attack obviously works better on the Kitty Cutpurse. But we pick up the Greedy, and that's the important part. We're going to be able to start stacking some stats on this Greedy, and we really don't even need a Merlin's hat here. We are just greed kitty balling and creating our own ways to generate additional econ. I do think I should consider strongly locking on this magic research, but it does look like I'm going to let it roll by in favor of some other spells. I guess that I do kind of want to try to find the Merlin's hat. I'm not gonna just say absolutely no to it. But we are gonna get a nice little burst of econ on the Greedy. Only 1 coin from the Greedy. Had we put the +2 attack on it, then it would have had 1 additional health and given us that 1 coin back. So definitely worth considering that we missed that there. I don't hate turning the Kitty Cutpurse good, but then it doesn't work with the Queen of Hearts, so it's probably not that great to do so. So I will just roll, and we'll see what else we can find. All right, Stone Skin definitely goes on Greedy. That one is pretty straightforward. Any Stone Skins that we find definitely go there, and even a Merlin's Test is honestly pretty good. We could put it again on the Kitty Cutpurse, could also put it on the Mummy. Looks like I'm going to kind of split the difference a little bit this game and put some stats on Kitty Cutpurse, some on Mummy. I do think that's fine, but yeah, there's definitely some incentives to go either way here. Here, I think I'm going to go Golden Chicken and then lock this Spellweaver in the shop, because we do want to get some mages on the board eventually, so that way we can start scaling our other units as we cast spells for Potion Master. So I'll pick up this Candy Rain, and then I will be locking this Spellweaver. We could also pick it up right now if we sell, like, the Black Cat and the Chicken. If that was the case, we should have purchased the Candy Rain after we bought the Spellweaver. But I think that it will be good enough to just lock the Spellweaver in the shop here. And Kitty Cutpurse is going to slay. That's what, I mean, this is like benefit of hindsight, but it's like definitely overkill how big this Kitty Cutpurse is. But this Greedy is doing well for us. That is going to get us some additional coin. Only one additional coin because we didn't cast any extra spells onto it. But we're doing fine. This is a Merlin with a Crystal Ball as well, so there'll definitely be somebody to watch out for. But the fact that we are beating them right now definitely bodes well for us. I'll pick up a Spellweaver, and then I'm not going to worry about the Shard of the Ice Queen. We'll just roll for some other spells that we can cast, and one other spell that we could cast is the End. That is kind of sweet. Maybe we put it on the Black Cat here. Yeah, that seems fine, because we like the Queen of Hearts. We're obviously keeping the Mummy. I don't want to break up the pairs, and it does kind of feel awkward to sell the Chicken. Then I'll go for some Magic Research, and it does look like I'm going to continue to cast spells on the Kitty, and then strongly considering this Trash Can here, but I don't think it's the best use of our gold. I think when we have the Crystal Ball, well, maybe I go for it. Okay, we go for it. It's defendable either which way. I think it's like an interesting decision point, but I don't fault it either. One of the reasons that I do love Potion Master is because he's able to, or she's able to, they are able to get additional XP. And because we just bought 1 XP, and because this XP costs exactly how much coin we have left, I think it does behoove us somewhat to just pick up this XP right now, and then we'll be level 6 pretty shortly, and just be able to continue to do some nice Happle things. So we get our first Slay, and then we get some Greedy triggers as both of those Court Wizards attack into my Greedy. So that is pretty sweet. We're going to take out the Court Wizard. We get one more Court Wizard trigger onto Greedy as well. So all of that is quite fantastic, and going to mean that now we've got a ton of extra gold on this next shop. So pretty sweet. We've got the Kitty Cutpurse Slay, and we're greed balling, and we're up 2 XP on the lobby, so gotta be feeling pretty well. And one thing that can definitely continue to put us over the top is picking up an Aeon. So now we've actually got the means to try to start making some of our spells cheaper, and that can obviously be quite fantastic. Get to grab a lucky coin here, and then I'm probably just going to put any spells that I can find on Aeon, because that will effectively make it so that we are like hatballing. Instead of buying the XP last turn, I think that I should have just rolled for Aeon, but I guess it all winds up working out in the end. I declined to pick up Lancelot. I'm not sure if that is the right call either, because we could have gotten a tier 5 treasure for free, but I just want to make Aeon as big as I can this turn and really start to scale my board. So I think that that is ultimately going to be a decent plan for us. We'll figure out how to get some other treasures and things later, if we even need them, because Potion Master really just needs Crystal Ball, and I think this game is a great demonstration of that. And yeah, just going to continue to be sweet for us. We will be level 6 next turn, and the Aeon does get the Slay. So all of that is really sweet. My opponent's Brave Princess also gets the Slay, and then so does our Kitty Cutpurse. So it is slays all around. Greedy is going to give us 2 extra econ as well. So that is, I mean, that's just awesome. We're greed balling. We've got the Kitty Cutpurse rolling. We got the Aeon rolling, and we are Potion Master balling. So doing pretty good. So now we're on tier 6. We're going to see some slightly bigger spells. But we can't really cast either of those. So we will keep rolling here. We can cast Beauty's Influence. The main reason to cast Beauty's Influence is so that you can cast... you can then cast the Evil Twin on some of your units. And I do debate picking up the Robin Wood just to be able to use the Flourish on it. But I'm going to go for the Sporko and stop there. The Sporko being a mage, so it will get buffed up by the Aeon. Could take Greedy. I don't think that that is worth it, though. I am just going to cast some spells here, grow the Spellweaver a little bit more, and see what else we can do. We are up against the Ghost, but I don't think that it is worth going for. I do think that we should have probably considered that Evil Twin and probably just cast it, but things are still going to work out pretty well for us here. As we get to go Hugify, we get to go Burning Palm, we could even cast a Mix-a-Whizzle and Devour if we want to, and definitely want to make sure I am locking this Drink Me potion for the next turn. I'll start off next turn by devouring that Queen of Hearts, and then casting the potion again, the Drink Me potion, to cast a whole bunch more spells next turn. Not going to get any additional econ from Greedy on this one, but we are still going to be strong enough to defeat this Ghost, and I think we got to slay off Kitty Cutpurse and Aeon, so not too shabby. Should probably take a Wizard's Familiar, and then, like I said, we're going to feed this Queen to the Kraken. And honestly, Knighthood looks good. It costs 11 gold, but it could save us a ton of gold in future turns by giving us a bunch more cheap spells to work with, so I definitely think it's good. The question is it good enough to lock it? And we'll see. I'm going to cast the Lucky Coin first, and then I am going to cast the Rootworm, and now the option here is I could Smite, and then I could lock the Knighthood. And this Knighthood will be cheaper because we just Knighthooded an Aeon, so that will probably slay and make this Knighthood cost only 10, but it's still definitely a decision to make. One thing that I could have done as well is I could have locked the Lucky Coin in the shop, which would have meant that we are effectively using that Lucky Coin to purchase the Knighthood rather than using the Lucky Coin to allow us to purchase this Smite. I am going to decide to lock the Knighthood here. I think that it is good enough, and that we could cast it on the Wizard's Familiar probably, and that will give us some nice stats going into the next turn. So that is the plan. That's kind of like our own little Storm King, the start of a Storm King here, and my opponent's got some Lightning Dragons, so this could be scary, but we've got a huge Aeon, and then we've also got some other huge units, so it's actually not going to be too scary, and we're going to get both of our Slays against our opponent, so an extra gold and cheap spells for this turn. That means that we will be able to Knighthood the Wizard's Familiar, and then probably do some more stuff. So let's start off with the Knighthood on the Wizard's Familiar, and then we can roll. We've got 3 gold, but we're going to see 2 spells in each shop, which is pretty good. Baba Yaga on Aeon is also pretty tempting. I would have to sell 3 things to make it work, but I could sell both of these Witches plus the Greedy and then be able to purchase it. So it's definitely a consideration. And it will make the Kitty Cutpurse slay an additional time, and it will also make the Aeon slay an additional time. Honestly, I think that this is... Oh, am I thinking of selling the Kitty Cutpurse? No, yeah, I should sell the mages, even though they are mages. I think that this is probably a little bit silly, but a little bit silly never hurt anybody. So I am going to pick up the Baba Yaga, and then going to lock the... or cast the Toil and Trouble, is what I mean to say there. So get a few more stats from that. But now, when our Aeon connects, which it should be able to connect here as long as the dragon doesn't kill the Baba Yaga, which it does, but after we've attacked, we are now going to have our spells cost 4 less this turn, which is just absolutely incredible. And my opponent had a Croc with nothing in it, which was very weird. I don't know how they managed to do that one, but we now have our spells cost 4 cheaper, which means that this knighthood only costs 8, so it's pretty tempting. It could make this Baba Yaga upgraded, and now you can see just all of these spells are going to be totally free, which is pretty sweet. Still hanging on to this kitty cup purse that I have had since the beginning of the game is also a lot of fun. Honestly, I don't think that my spells were super well spent in terms of having all of the knighthoods get cast. It's a little bit silly because I wind up throwing away a bunch of stats by not scaling. Like this turn, I'm basically forced to actually roll and try to find some spells at some point because I've not actually cast that many spells yet this game. We upgraded the Wizard's Familiar, so we do have to put that to use at some point. Go for Mix-a-Wizzle. I guess I should put it on the Kitty Cup Purse, just for lack of having a better thing to put it on. That does mean that we are going to deny ourselves some gold. And then I just move the Spellweaver to the front line to make use slightly of the Witch. I don't know if that's super necessary either. Probably could have just kept this 100 attack Spellweaver a little bit safer in the back, but nonetheless, that is the play that I go for. So Aeon is looking rather large, and Spellweaver is going to take out a few of my opponent's dwarfs, and then the Wizard's Familiar is also going to take out some of my opponent's dwarves, and this opponent does not realize that when you have Tweedledee plus Magic Sword, you should put the Magic Sword on the Tweedledee, and that will give you a bunch of stats. But unfortunately for them, we take them out before they can realize it. Or maybe they did realize it, but just didn't have enough time to put it into play there. So this is probably the last combat of the game. Let's roll and cast some spells. We can see Crocbait is free, so might as well cast it. I cast it on Angry just to roll some more spells into the shop. Honestly, probably could have just cast it on the Mummy or something too, but all of this is fine. It's really hard to have too much of a fault with any of this. And then I do wind up throwing this Crocbait onto the Mummy. I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe if we find another Crocbait, I can actually get a treasure this way, and that would be kind of silly. I'll throw some additional stats onto this Croc now just because. And if we find a Crocbait, it's free, so it's worth going for. It's just a little bit silly. So we'll cast a few more spells before this combat is over, before we run out of time. And then I think I will probably settle for this Pigomorph because we only have 7 seconds left. So then I will just be rolling down. Could lock Magic Research. Probably, lock this one, a spell with 2, or a shop with 2 spells that we can cast. But this might be the end of the game here. My opponent does have an upgraded Good Boy. We are going to Pigomorph something in the back. We do get that Aeon Slay, so that's nice. But the Court Wizard is going to attack in. Good Boy is going to attack in too. And put out a decent amount of stats across the board. But Mummy is going to be pretty decent for us as well. I think this one's really going to come down to how well our ranged units. This is a range versus range off. And does look like my opponent's going to take this one, especially with Reduplicator Mimicked Juliet. So we are going to take a little bit of damage here. There is another battle yet to be played. I take the Sporko because I do want to start taking the game a little more seriously, I guess I'll say. We do want to try to get some more units out here on the pitch to try to do some more powerful stuff. I will Mix-a-Wizzle this Robin Hood, try to get some more stats that way, and it actually gives us a tree too, so that's kind of nice. I can Evil Twin something. I just Evil Twin the Aeon because it only costs 2 to do so, and then I actually put the Aeon in because it probably will be a bunch of stats by the time we're done this turn. We no longer have a monster because our monster is inside of a Croc, but we are going to cast a bunch more spells here. Mix-a-Wizzle will go on the Robin Hood again, and Jormungand is actually really sweet here. I backline a Jormungand because my Aeons are going to be able to slay. Kind of want to try to put in the Kitty Cup Purse as well, because that could also probably slay, but I'm just going to wind up ending on a Genie's Wish, and then I'll lock a Wormroot. But Jormungand could be good enough. Will Jormungand be enough to be the difference maker? We shall see. Court Wizard's going to get in and do nothing, and then we fail to kill, or my opponent fails to kill their own good boy. Then we take it out there, though. But Jormungand has gained some really good stats. It's a 100 unit. And we also have our Spellweaver in the appropriate position, so that's actually going to be able to attack this time. So we take out the Court Wizard with Jormungand. That is absolutely huge. My opponent's going to summon 3 Juliets. One will get eaten by Spellweaver, one will trade into Jormungand, and then one more gets eaten by Spellweaver, and that's it. We won with Potion Master using just Crystal Ball, plus a bunch of sweet econ options. That Kitty Cup purse staying with us for the longest time on the bench on the last fight. Unfortunately, I would have loved to find a way to put it in there. Maybe it should have just been in over the Croc or over the Aeon. I think the Aeon slightly outscaled it by the end of the last combat, but maybe we could have cast more spells on the Kitty Cup person, kept it in there. But I thought this was a really sweet game because it obviously, Potion Master balling games are always going to be sweet, but what's cool is when you can use Crystal Ball and things that aren't Merlin's Hat. Aeon obviously being the most straightforward, but Kitty Cup Purse and Greedy, just ways to generate additional econ, can definitely do some work there. So, hope you had fun watching, certainly had fun playing. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.